So now we're going to install the TruGard. The gutter has been installed, as you can see. We have an inside corner that we'll be doing, as well as the length. So the downspout is on the left side here. So our high point is to the right. The question is, how low do I start my gutter on the non-downspout side? So the highest side of the gutter should not be any higher than 6.5 inch from the bottom to the roof. So the brackets are being installed. What's important is to install your first one on the edge as far as to the edge as possible. And then when it comes to installing the bracket, you want to grab it and hold it in the back like so. And then through that hole is the screw which you'll screw into. If you notice, the bracket needs to be a little bit lifted off from the back edge, keeping from any damages to the gutter by stress in the back end. So we just lift it less than 1/8 and then we screw it through the front. 5 smart clips will be installed per panel. Panels are 5 feet long, and so it ends up being about 15 inch per smart clip, and you'll see the hidden hangers as well that are installed between. Notice the flashing that's installed. Our gutter is lower. We're doing a fascia installation. So since our gutter is lowered in the drip edge, we will add a flashing in the back that will go underneath the drip edge and on top of the back of the gutter. This allows the water to drip directly into the gutter if anything were to go behind the gutter protection. At each end of the panel, we're going to measure our distance from the back of the drip edge to the front of the smart clip. And so here we have 5 1/8 to the back. And then to measure the height, we also have 1.5 inches to the top of the roof, and we'll subtract 1/2 inch to give us 1 inch lip. And so this is repeated on the other end of the 5 feet. Here to the front we have 5 inch, and then also have 1.5 inches to the top of the roof, and we'll subtract 1/2 inch to give us 1 inch lip. So I'm getting ready to break here. I'm going to measure 5 inch for my panel length, and then my lip is 1/2 inch, so it's 5.5. And then my cutting line, because I use a cutter that comes with my brake, I put a mark at 7 to make sure that my line gets cut at 5.5. And I'm going to do the other side in the same way. So now I'm ready to bend it. If you notice here, this is the overlapping panel side. So my line, I don't see it, so it gives me about a 30-second difference. So again, the panel's a little bit smaller, so that because it's overlapping, I'm going to go ahead and bend it. So this is the panel that's bent. This is the material that's remaining, so I can do end caps with this material and cut it up in half to do flashing like we talked about earlier. When we install the TruGard, we want to snap it into the bracket there, and you can see it snapped into the bracket. Being a fascia installation, we're going to screw into the fascia, and that's the only screws that's going to hold the panel. Makes the panel very much strong. There'll be a total of 4 screws, 1 on each end, and then 2 in the middle. So we're going to screw right into the fascia there. And having 2 hands, you're able to hold the panel from coming out, but you get the idea. Notice that the panel is inside the gutter cap, so that water, when it goes on the panel, will fall directly onto the gutter. So here we can see how the panel snaps in there. It's not much, but it really holds nice and tight. When installing the smart clips, we measure from the last panel clips all the way to 61 inch. On the exterior, we install our bracket there, and then in between we'll have 3 other brackets for a total of 5 per panel. So I'm getting ready to overlap the panels, and when I did do my bend, I made sure that my distance from front to the back on this panel is going to be a hair less, so that when I come to fit it against, it doesn't come out. So now we're doing the inside corner. I like to use a combination of quarter panels as well as the inside corner. So one quarter panel is going to be made to fit straight. And as you'll see, I kind of cut it around to maximize the opening there when we stick the inside corner. So now I'm going to stick the other quarter panel, and notice how it was cut out to fit. So I cut an angle there, kept more at the bottom, and then kind of went around. So when you slide it one or the other, it really does a nice fit there. And then we're going to go ahead and install the inside corner, and I try to leave a good opening for that inside corner piece. And the inside corner, you want the holes to follow the direction of the gable. So now we're going to install the piece inside corner. I just made this one up here with 2 bend on each side. So we'll go ahead and put that all the way in there. I maximize the opening for the holes. So this is an inside corner. Took a quarter panel, which is 18-inch. And so we'll cut it in half. It gives you a panel of 9-inch and 9-inch. Cut this one straight, and this one I cut around so it would be a nice fit. And then I took some material and simply followed the valley there so that the holes would face it and so that the water could go in better. So we got to close the end here with a drip cap that we will make. So the cap is going to come like this with 2 finished ends, and then you simply cut it to fit well. Here I simply cut in a bent there my cap in order to cover also the back end and the top, and I'll simply screw that in. So here's a nice fitting end cap. The one thing I would suggest when you do end caps is to look at the space here. I allow just a little space here, about 1/8, and then sometimes just bend up this cap. If you had some water that would drip to the edge, these are little issues sometimes that client can call and say, well, I have a little bit of water dripping, and we see the same issues take place. So sometimes it's way too tight. You have water that's coming here and coming to the side. And so these are things to watch for. Also, when I put the 2 screws, I allow for just a small space, again, just for water. It doesn't matter if water goes in. We don't want debris to go in. So it's a completely closed system. You'll notice this panel here is a new panel that's been installed, and the finish is oil-based. It will pearl a little bit, as you notice. If you have a panel that's about 30 days old, you'll notice how the water spreads out more evenly. The water will still go in, but it's not as effective as the panel that's been used for a little while. So sometimes you'll see that effect take place, but that's absolutely normal, and it improves, usually about 30 days, like I mentioned.